Hey, what's up, turtles? It's Krik here, Black Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a video on this knife I have right here. And this is the Primal Edge. It's the name of the knife, Primal Edge by Primal Edge and Leatherworks. This is a small craftsman. I'm not going to call him a knife maker because he doesn't want to call himself a knife maker. He's only been out this for, I believe, about a year. But he has been watching our channel, asked us if we'd be interested in trying out one of his knives, giving some feedback, you know, sort of helping getting his name out there. And I said, absolutely, all for supporting and helping cottage industry and small industry type deals. But anyways, this is the Primal Edge knife. And it's going for, he's selling this for $195, and he's included the sheath as well. He made the sheath. And here's the knife in my hand. And just some of the specs of the knife include its overall length is 9 1/4 inches, handle length 4 1/8, blade length 5 1/8. We have a high Scandi grind with a micro bevel. It is 1084 high carbon steel. You have a squared spine to throw sparks. Oh, it's really slipping my mind right now. The wood these handle scales are made of rosewood, I want to say. Excuse me about that. But anyways, there's really yellow liners in here, which make it really, really pretty. I really like the contrast in comparison to the dark handle scales, the wood of that. This wood is not stabilized. I asked Michael about that. He said it's not stabilized for a few reasons, and mainly being price. For him to do that, to stabilize this wood on himself or send it away, it's really expensive, will jump the price up. But him and I kind of both agreed that it's just a high carbon steel blade. You're gonna have to take care of that anyways with oiling it and making sure, you know, you keep the water, keeping water off of it. The same goes with the scales, the wood scales. Keep them oiled, keep them supple so they don't crack, and be wary of water. But this really is sort of that classic design. Like he said, the reason why he sort of made this design was that classic design. People wanted a little bit bigger, so he made, you know, the 5-inch blade on it. And he also said he left the handle a little bit thicker so people can sort of contour it to their own hand size and shape. But personally, I don't feel like I would need to change this handle at all. It's a really comfortable knife. It doesn't have any contouring on this profile, if you will. It's flat here. My fingers running across it, but you do have this nice big palm swell down here, which makes for a really nice, thick, sort of handled knife to grab and to use, and it's very comfortable and really not too many hot spots, if at all. Play with this fire for a second. Getting into some of the specifics and maybe some of the, I mean, I'm not criticizing this knife at all because he himself does not want to call himself a knife maker just due to his lack of experience and, you know, just years of even making knives to call himself a knife maker. But there are a few things with the finish. You have a little bit of inconsistency with the bevel height on this side here. This is a little bit smaller. I'm going to turn it over here. It's a little bit higher over here. Things of that nature, which just comes with practice. Me, myself, having been doing leather work now for about 3 or 4 months, with each project, I'm learning more and more my fit and finish, the small little things lining up. I notice them more, and they get better with each project. But that only comes with time and just the sheer number of volume of projects you do for something like that to be really, really specific, and you have the skills and to get all that down. But with that being said, I really, really like this knife. I really like this knife and the rest of his knives. Really, really like the designs of them, the more classic looks, the handle material he uses. And, you know, part of the reason why I wanted to do this video was because I'm really trying to help people, help small businesses or people trying to do it themselves to really grow and to get that exposure, because I feel like if people have potential and all they need is sort of the resources and the support from you and I to keep doing it, then, you know, who knows the skill that they're going to achieve and the products they're going to achieve. It just takes that push from us as, you know, supporters to get them up there. But all in all, I really, really like this knife, and I really like the way he's doing the things he's doing and doing it all himself. It's really, really respectable. So a good test for a knife for me to use out in the woods as, you know, sort of a skill to put the knife through its paces, if you will, is to do a one-stick fire, which I have done. So what I've done, I've chosen a nice thick piece of tulip poplar, and I chose tulip poplar to baton down because it's a softer wood. It's not going to put too much stress on the knife edge if it is going to twist within the wood or anything. Because it's a soft wood, I'm just going to let the knife go with it. I don't really want to do birch or use birch, because batoning is something you can do for small fires, get small kindling, but it's not something you want to do with a knife to process a lot of wood, because you have the potential of damaging your edge. So I chose, I don't know, maybe it was about 4 inches maybe in diameter of tulip poplar. I used that, baton that down multiple times, continued to do that, and it worked out really well. Obviously the 5-inch blade is going to help even for small pieces of wood, let alone larger pieces in diameter, but it worked really well. And once I did that, I got some smaller pieces down, something I'm going to put on top of the fire after I actually have flame from my feathering and curls of that nature. And it worked really well. Like I said, it's comfortable. And once I got past sort of getting some actual fuel to burn, I went ahead and shaved some really small, fine curls, where I was really not putting hardly any pressure on the knife, really letting the blade sort of just barely skim across it and letting the sharpness and the grind do its work without too much pressure from my part to get really, really, really thin curls that's going to take my spark. And I processed some of those. Once I got, a little bit, put that on a rock so it's not going to take any moisture off the ground, because they're so thin, it'll take a spark, but it'll also pick up moisture very, very quick. So I did that, put that on the rock. Got some bigger curls, made a little bit of a feather stick. So actually, once I get those small curls lit up, I can put the larger sort of feather stick, if you will, on top of that, and then add my fuel. That's basically the process I think is really effective for doing a one-stick fire. And this knife, did it well, performed well. I was able to get the small, thin curls. I was able to get the thick ones without, really forcing my hand, like not feeling hot spots or uncomfortable in my hand, the handle design, what I'm speaking specifically on. And I know it really worked great. So I just want to thank Michael again for sending this knife. I am going to send this knife back to him. This was, more of just for us to help get him out there and support him. We're not keeping this knife, we're just doing this video for him to help support, just like I want to ask people to help support my leatherwork, our craft, and black outdoors in general. We need people to support us. That's just the reality. We need people to support us. So I want to do my share for other folks. And be on the lookout. You're going to see his name again from us. There's going to be something special coming in the upcoming months from Michael at Primal Edge and us. So keep a lookout for that. If you have any questions about this knife or anything he's doing, about the sheath, I guess I didn't really talk too much about the sheath, excuse me, but I guess I'll touch on it since I'm holding it. Is an artificial sinew. I know he punched it with an ice pick, doing the same thing. Simple sort of taco style, bushcraft sheath, folded over belt loop. Has a stamp up here, tooling, and very effective for a really awkward sort of shaped handle to get a leather sheath, but nonetheless very functional. And he did this all himself again, the leatherwork, so really cool. But if you have any questions about any of that, leave a comment. Don't hesitate to ask. Remember to check us out on the website. This video will be up on the website with some different photography. Check us out on the other social media outlets. This is Krik signing out with Black Outdoors. Later, turtles.